Ooh, that dirt's not going to help him as we got Espes, who has been saving fuel. Does he have enough to finish this lap going all out? Taking a look down the inside as he gets covered up. Oh, we're going to go 3 wide into the hairpin.
3 wide. Hawkin makes it stick on the right side. Better run for Williams on the left. Espes chooses the left as well. Hawkin now stuck side by side as Espes goes for a 3 wide move. Heading towards Cunningham. Espes bullies his way back up to the point. Williams with the preferred line. Hawkin makes it 3 wide again. Hawkin and Williams late break. Side by side still.
Toulonen's got one of the best runs we've seen from him yet, and this could be the overtake he's been looking for. He pulls up on him, staying to the inside. Partonen stays down low as they come towards the braking into 1 and 2. A little bit of a back off from Tolonen, even though he's good on the binders. Oh, but he shakes him off the racing line and pulls the over-under, and he gets past Partonen.
Gonna poke his nose to the inside, going down into turn 10. That sweeping right-hander. Oh, contact! Newhook gets the worst of it.
He tries to woe it up. Can he? He does keep it on course, amazingly. I thought he was going to have to cut the chicane, but now look at all of them swamping side to side as there's a little bit of a brush into the right front fender of Newhook's car. Now a little bit of banging between himself and Cowgill, trying to hold on to it. They are getting rough out there. We still have 28 minutes to go.
Joe, that was almost 4 wide coming down into turn 1. I don't know if I've ever seen that much aggression here out of these MX-5s.
Under braking, who is the bravest here? More lap traffic in front of him. It looks like Reynolds goes a little bit deeper, but is it too deep? No, he gets ahead. Thomas O'Leary cannot hold him back. Blake Reynolds is back up to the point, fighting back now. It's going to come down through the stadium section and the inside with Thomas O'Leary. The shorter line and a spin from Blake Reynolds gives it up. Get one more good shot here, but passing into Rent. I don't know about that. Side by side in the last corners will be sketchy. Lap traffic staying out of the way. Hammer defends to the inside. Burns around the long way. And he's going to have to take to the runoff because there's a little bit of nudge between them. Comes back to the racetrack, but he's behind as Hammer exits the final corner. Hammer is going to take the win here at Austria.
What just a few weeks ago looked like a walk-away championship for Juan Costa has now turned into an underdog story, as Costa's disastrous showing in Sebring saw him fall behind Marco Kayla in the championship. But not only does he have to look ahead, but behind, as well as perennial favorite Sebri Seppa and Paulie Partonen are close behind him in the points. By the end of today's race, however, all questions will be answered and we will crown a champion. Welcome everyone to round 12 of the Lotus 79 Grand Prix series. You'll see everything live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. My name is DJ Clark, and with me in the booth is Robert O'Brien. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Monza is a track that truly needs no introduction, but for those who may need a refresher on the nuances of this temple of speed, let's head over to the Gsrc track guide for more.
Welcome to Monza. This track has a major place in racing history, not just for the legendary races, names, and cars that have been here, but because it was the third purpose-built car racing circuit in the world. It's often discussed and reverenced among fans, and especially by Italians who have nicknamed it the Temple of Speed. In fact, the Ferrari fans here are so famous for their devotion that they have been dubbed the Tifosi and never fail to show up in droves. While the real world offers only 3 feasible layouts to race on due to safety, in iRacing, the inclusion of the oval and the lack of safety concerns gives it a stunning 9 versions drivers can choose from. The modern GP layout is of course the most well known, with its long history of hosting the Italian Grand Prix. But the oval and combined circuits allow those who thirst for more speed to satiate that craving with its insanely high banking. Indeed, incredible velocities are a staple of just about every version you can race here. Draft battles are not uncommon, no matter which car you're racing. But the inclusion of the chicanes makes using an outbraking maneuver a much more tricky way of overtaking. The circuit is notorious for drivers getting tangled up with each other while running side by side in these slow and cumbersome corners. In fact, one of the greatest dangers for drivers is the first few laps when the field is still clumped together and attempting to navigate them 2 and 3 wide. While there are other modern circuits with high-speed straights, the fact that Monza sits inside the Royal Park just north of Milan and is still tightly lined with trees heightens the sense of speed here. All in all, Monza is unmatched in its history, thrills, and great racing. Its significance in motorsports history and culture is sure to be unchallenged for years.
Well, Robert, that is what the track is traditionally, but we're running a little bit of a modified layout today in the fact that there is no first chicane.
Yeah, absolutely, DJ, and welcome everybody to the Monza Layout, sort of the classic layout for these Lotus 79s, and they will be missing the first chicane through what most people would consider a very weird path of just going straight through. It'll be a long sweeping right for these cars and holding the wheel as much as they can. It'll be reduced down to 9 turns for them on the 3.5 mile or 5.63 kilometer layout. It'll still follow the rest of the track as per normal, but it'll be a fast sweeping right-hander instead of having to pick the tire up as it comes along. And especially going into that first chicane, we will be seeing quite a few moments, as it were.
Well, we're going to be on the lookout for those moments, but obviously the big talk of the moments right now is that championship. And so let's bring you to the Drivers' Championship. As we talked about in the opening, Marco Kayla holds a lead over Juan Costa and Severi Seppa, who are actually tied on points right now. Now, if Kayla is to win this race, it is a lock for him. Costa and Seppa, courtesy of drop points, really need a DNF or a bad result out of Marco Kayla to be able to pull this out. Paulie Partonen also has an outside chance there, only 4 points back of Seppa and Costa. Timothy Reed, though, back in 5th, a little bit of an island unto himself. But what about the team's championship, Robert?
In the team's championship, Equipe Renault Elf is currently leading on 264 points, followed by Marche Grand Prix Racing of Costa and Thomas, Fittipaldi Automotive in 3rd, Tyrrell Racing Team in 4th, and Ragnar Ar's Beta Racing Team, that's a mouthful, currently in 5th. But I'm going to be looking to see if Equipe Renault Elf continues their good form, because I think as of right now, if they do continue, if they do have good results today, it might just be the end of the team's championship as well.
It may indeed. And the way those drivers are going to get there, well, we'll walk you through them today in our race details as that goes on through. This is the 12th round here of the series. 27 laps around this Temple of Speed, an open setup, no spare car. You get a drive through at 17x and disqualification at 25. We also don't anticipate pit stops over the course of the race. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a little bit of a wrench in the works of everything. Marco Kayla is not here today. And so that is going to absolutely change everything when it comes to the points. Now, he has already had 3 weeks that he is DNF'd, or DNS, that is did not start. So this will count as his 4th and final drop week, which means that we now will have a 3-way championship fight between Juan Costa, Severi Seppa, and Paulie Partonen.
And Severi Seppa will be my favorite, given the fact that he's actually doing very well out there. But it's just in terms of, it's always sort of, it's got to be a tussle between the two of them anyway, Juan Costa and Seppa. And as of right now, while Juan Costa is P1 in terms of the qualifying on the 128.773. I'm gonna be the contrarian. I'm gonna be Severi. Definitely be my choice. Car number 3.
Well, Severy has just completed his qualifying laps, and he's out in fourth, but Gernot Frischa bumps his ways up to P2 right now, separating our championship contenders. We watch Paulie Partonen here, who is on his final flying lap, working his way out of the Parabolica. Rob, that is one of the most crucial corners on this track, especially with the no first chicane. You've got to nail the exit out of that corner.
Oh, absolutely. It's the entry as well. And there we go. That is Paulie Partonen going 128.72, pushing him up into first position. But yeah, as we come through here, you see that chicane that's being missed, and it's coming all the way down into that what would be the second chicane on normal layout. Is going to be the most crucial one, and Parabolica as well. The braking points are going to be absolutely critical for these cars, especially given the fact that while these cars are slicks, there's not a lot of downforce on them, and if you overdo it, there's a nice wall to greet you, essentially. Not a lot of runoff on many of these corners.
No, there really isn't. They've got to be very, very careful to make sure they get everything right. We watch Teemu Voskalampi here in the closing stages of qualifying as he works his way around. He's yet to set a time. He should get it in just under the wire. So another one of the Finnish invasion here. Teemu working his way through the two Lesmos. Woo, very close to running wide there on the second corner.
And that's another problem as well with these 79s. With the way that they have to be set up for Monza, the rear kicks out quite a lot. They'll have to be as slick as possible. Remember, this was a time of ground effect, or everybody attempting to experiment for ground effect, and that is going to be that car pulling over. As we see, this is going to be sort of where speed is everything, especially given the fact that they don't go through the first chicane. As long as you have the slipperiest car on planet known to man, you might just get away with having to slam through the corners and sort of kick the tail out constantly.
Exactly, and it'll be interesting to see if anybody opts to go with a little bit of a contrary setup, maybe run a hair more downforce out there. So it looks like as we get in the closing stages of qualifying here, Frischa is going to be on the pole, able to beat Paulie Partonen there just barely. And so that's going to put Partonen, Costa starting 2-3, and then our other championship hopeful, Severy Seppa, back in P5 right now. So that'll make things very, very interesting as this race gets started. But it quick kicks over there, and we're ready to go racing. We'll take you to that official starting grid. As we said, lining up in pole, it's Gernot Frischa, followed by Paulie Partonen, with Juanmi Costa and Jukka Tolvanen lining up behind them. Row 3 will be Severy Seppa and Dylan Freckleton. A great result there for Dylan. Timothy Reed starting in 7th, followed by Peter Kozaneski, with Pablo Suarez and Michael de Turk rounding out your top 10.
Then from 11th onwards, it's Michael de Turk in 11th, and then in 12th is going to be Christophe Dubois. Ovi Trangred then starts behind him with Karthik Pai in 14th, and down from there, Xavier Sanchez, Armando Edwards, Javier Mosquera, Barry West, Daniel Banker, Cristiano Coriani, Keith Herner, Joe Halton, Roman Suarez, Thomas Simon, Teemu Veskapalmi, and Timo Kajanlainen in 25th.
Starting off, yeah, there you go. So we get ready for everybody to take the grid now. Looking down the order, looks like we're still waiting for our top 5 to grid up. Everybody is going to be very, very careful. Let's what is that track temperature going to do for us as we look at it?
It's going to be difficult to get going. I think that's the main thing.
It is indeed. It's going to be very, very tricky. We're still waiting here for those top drivers to grid up as we wait around for them to go. There's Paulie Partonen popping his way up onto the grid. I see Juanmi Costa there as well. We are just waiting for everybody to get fully gridded up here. And there is Gernot Frischa. Everybody now taking their spots on the grid. We're just waiting for Germain Suarez as there he goes. And we're ready to get going, just waiting for those lights to come on. It's the final race of the Lotus 79 series. Here come the lights, and there goes the thunder. thunder, we are racing at Monza. It's a great start for Paulie Partonen. He's able to get off. Friesha looking like he's going to be absolutely swamped here. Juan Costa also getting a good run. Yuka Tolan trying to tuck in the line as we've got two drivers. There's a driver around in the back. I believe that was Joe Halton, potentially Keith Herner maybe around. Paulie Partonen, though, up into the lead. Juan Costa tucking up behind in that draft. They continue their way around here side by side as they continue to go in. It's still going to be Partonen holding it out up into the lead. Costa slots in behind, watching everybody make their way through the De La Roggia chicane, and it looks clear. Here comes Costa, making a move into the first Lesmo. He's able to get ahead. That really slows up Paulie Partonen, and that allows for Gernot Friesha to be able to pull in behind, trying to see if there's anything there for him. Yuka Tolanen spying his way in the background, and it looks like Severi Seppa, one of our title contenders, has had a terrible start, dropping down to Dylan Freckleton, who's been able to work his way up into fifth. But the big mover here is Juan Costa as they work their way to Ascari for the first time. It runs Costa, Partonen, Friesha, Tolman, and Freckleton, and Seppa in the top six.
And they're keeping it nice and tidy in the top six. Nice. Oh, well, the commentator's curse striking almost instantly as poor Costa is unable to actually have a clean exit out of Ascari. He'll come down into Parabolica, keeping it clean. He needs to. If he has a bad escape, you know, sort of the launch out of Ascari, or correction, out of Parabolica, guess who's going to get after him? That car number 4 is going to be just right up there with him.
Is indeed, and it looks like he was able to get a pretty good launch. We hop on board here of Dylan Freckleton. As I said, a really, really great run for him early on. Nobody making a move. Oh, looks like Paulie Partonen thought a little bit about trying to do something, but not able to get anything done up ahead. A little bit of weaving there for Juan Costa up in the lead. Is that Dylan Freckleton trying to make a move? No, that's Severi Seppa trying to make a move on Dylan Freckleton, and the former champion is able to get it done, move his way back into P5.
Good move, good defending. It's all about the flow of the moment. If you can get the move, make the move, do the move. And if you've just got that extra little bravery, as we just saw, you can try and make it in some unorthodox places. That only chicane now, we shouldn't say the second chicane, the only chicane on this circuit. It's probably a great place to make it, but also very dangerous, coming from 300 kilometers an hour down to about 90 or 100. It's quite a long way down.
It certainly is, as it looks like Juan Costa is starting to stretch his legs a little bit out front. Paulie Partonen trying to hold on to that gap as much as possible. I anticipate the gap of about a second or so being that maximum draft efficacy, where you'll be able to pull in closely behind. There you see maybe a little bit of a deliberate off track there for Juan Costa, trying to run that car as wide as possible. But it looks like Gernot Friesha may have a little bit of a move here, and don't discount Severi Seppa in the back.
Yeah, Severi Seppa, he has, while he's down in a few positions in terms of where he would want to be, he still has the play of the game, because the gap behind him, there's everybody else fighting behind him. As we see, that is going to be Thomas Simon, I think, and Christophe Dubois coming through. The car number 14 on the outside, car number 2 on the inside. Oh, I think car number 14 sort of gave up, sort of, you know, let's hold behind, chaps.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Dubois did there, but it definitely did look like a back off out of that number 14 machine. Maybe just choosing discretion is the better part of valor here in the early stages of this race. We are already on the third lap here. They're going to tick by very, very quickly as we continue to go around. Now, as we jump back to focusing on the leaders, everybody running 1, 2, 3, 4. The gap has come down for Paulie Partonen, and as you saw, he set the fastest lap of the race last time out. Focusing back, though, on Severi Seppa as he continues to run in P5. Seppa needs to work his way forward here if he wants to have a shot at this championship. Remember, if Costa or Partonen or Seppa outright win this race, the championship will be theirs. Dylan Freckleton behind him looks like he's under a little bit of an attack there from Michael de Turk. Turk hoping to get a good run here out of Parabolica. Everybody working their way onto the main straightaway. Ooh, I think Gernot Friesha, who sets the fastest lap of the race, may have a little bit of something to say here. Let's continue to check on this. Tomas Simon able to take it away from him, though, that fastest lap. As we watch here, Friesha, I thought he was going to be able to have a little bit of a run there. So wider line coming through the corner for Paulie Partonen. maybe just not wanting to run in that dirty air.
Oh, crikey. Look at... Oh, no, not again.
Costa catches it, but he loses the lead. That's going to hand the lead over to Gernot Friesche, who was able to take it at the last minute, pip it away, and that was Paulie Partsinen having to hold off Jukka Tolinen for P2.
Ooh, that car got exceptionally unsettled coming through the first bit, and he didn't correct it in time for the second bit. And oh my goodness gracious, it absolutely bottled up everybody else. Now Partonen is going on Gernot Friesche and trying to see if he can make a move on the inside coming into Ascari. No, he doesn't. He holds off for now.
Indeed, holds it off for now, but I think Paulie Partsinen smelled some blood in the water. Remember, Gernot Friesche, not really a conversation in this title fight, as he is just racing out there for bragging rights. Paulie Partsinen, though, he wants to get ahead. If things finish the way that they are, Paulie Partsinen would be your championship victor here. In the back there, that is your former leader, Juanmi Costa. He fell behind Dylan Freckleton, but I think Juanmi's going to have something to say here and fight back.
Yeah, the worst thing is where he span. Oh, as we see, just sort of a melee of cars. They're sort of... I think the gloves are off now. I think we can safely say that. The gloves are off because everybody has just smelt Juanmi Costa's mistake. And they've all sort of thought, I'd like to get up there now. But just coming into the chicane, a little bit of a little tire lockup from Timothy Reed. He needs to keep it nice and steady. Don't make the mistake. Oh!
And that, I believe, was contact with Tomas Shimon, and they're both around. Excuse me, that's the Turk.
And the Turk got hit on his front wing. Oh, that's a bounce of a car.
That's a little bit chippy there, as they say. But now, as we've at least got a minute to take a breath, let's go back and check out the replay of that incident. Robert, walk us through this.
Coming into the first chicane, the back slips out. He's trying to correct it with a bit of oversteer, but he hits the curb at the same time. And what happens with these 79s is, while ground effect does a lot for you, it doesn't do everything. And the strength of the car comes from the driver being able to use the mechanical grip as well. But it just in that time, it's just a perfect setup of all the worst things about that. You can just see that the back is sliding out. He's trying to correct it with opposite lock, but it's just not enough. The car is going to slalom around and snap back around, and that cost him a huge number of places. We just get to see here as well. This is what happened.
So that was just a little bit of a bump. That looked a little maybe out of anger there. I think some tempers starting to rage here at Monza, and yeah, there's that little hello, how you doing there at the end.
By the way, these cars, if you make the mistake of having a slide back through that chicane, for instance, it's a very slow, it's the slow accident, kind of like, and you slide and you just keep sliding and it never ceases to end. The best way to get out of it is slow down the car, correct it, and then come back at it again.
Indeed, they're very, very tricky. It's one of the most frustrating things in the world to be able to be driving those cars. I have, this is one of my babies that I love to drive around here on the iRacing service, and I can tell you that I do spend most of my time backwards in the car rather than forwards, but that's beside the point. As we continue to watch here, Juanmi Costa looking like he may have a little something for Gernot Friesche. Again, he is just, or excuse me, that's Severi Seppa. Again, he just needs to nail the exit coming out of Parabolica here. Ooh, Costa looking particularly strong. Now, Costa has been wont to run a little bit of a lower downforce setup on the whole. May have a little bit of a run as they cross the time in the scoring line. Tomas Shimon able to set the fastest lap of the race again from P7. Oh, Costa getting very close.
Yeah, he's making the move quickly. No two buts about it. Make the move and make it clean and make it fast. That's all he needs to do, and he got by just handedly. Severi Seppa obviously has chosen to use a different kind of setup, more downforce in the corners, and there's a sort of a game of compromise that you have to play with this car. It's not a case of you can just whack on stuff and then it'll be grand. You kind of have to sort of, you know, mix and match, just turn the dials ever so slightly one way or the other. And you can just see one-way Costa's car is very, very unstable coming through the corners, whereas Seppa's car just looks very planted. So comfortable setup and a bit slower, or very dangerous setup and a slightly faster.
Want to bring your attention back to a little battle we just had for P9. Teemu Vaskalampi able to get on by, other way around there. Or he was able to get by Timothy Reed. Reed looking like he's got some rear wing damage to that car. Not sure exactly how he picked that up, but that is going to massively slow him down the main straightaways.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said before, while these cars had ground effect, the worst thing that they can have is, with what little aero is above the car, is that is damaged. And if it, and you can just see on the rear right, the rear wing end plate is collapsed essentially at a 40-degree angle to the left, or a 30-degree angle to the left. It's actually going to cause a lot more damage or to his aero and to his speed more than anything else. And the car is not looking too comfortable.
No, it is really and truly not. Oh, up ahead of them, that is Suarez and Reed. Teemu Vaskalampi, rather, able to really get a good run here. He looks like he has got some speed underneath him in that number 9 machine.
And he has. He's sort of woken up a little bit, and he's sort of pushing the buttons in a correct way. No, when I say it the correct way, in the very correct way in terms of being able to get up positions. But he's got a long way to go. He has also the fact that there's a gap of 2.8 seconds ahead of him, in which he needs to clear before he's able to get onto the back end of the Teemu in the car number 9, and then onto the gap of Dylan Freckleton and Thomas Simon.
Well, while he tries to work out that gap, let's check out this move he just was able to pull on Pablo Suarez. This was a really pretty good battle that he got. And was able to get it going, if we can get that replay, potentially.
While I wait for the replay, I do want to say, by the way, a lot of these cars are actually, I think a lot of the drivers out there, apart from the ones that we've named so far, have actually chosen a more stable setup, or they've gotten dialed in. And here we go with the replay.
So this is that pass that we talked about. Here he goes. Just a nice little slipstream. Hello, how you doing? Getting on by nice and easy. There they go. That's pretty much a textbook Monza pass.
Here we go with the Turk, as he has that's not something you want to see in the morning. No, I don't want to see a Lotus 79 buried in the wall.
No, especially coming through a Ascari, and it's very, very easy to do that. And Robert, you've talked a little bit about the ground effects here, but one of the things that makes a Ascari so difficult in these machines, as I understand it, is the fact that to really maximize speed through there, you've got to be aggressive with the curbs, and to be aggressive with the curbs, that ends up throwing off the car and messing up those ground effects.
No, yeah, 100%. If you upset the stability of the car when it's utilizing as much ground effect as these cars do, relatively speaking, for the time, it was not well understood, and it throws off the balance of the car in such a way. Oh, we got another car going off. It's going to be Cristiano Coriani, and he's actually gone off in the same place as a few others now have done so. Coming back to the point is, if you upset the balance of the car by going over curbs, you'll have situations where the car will just give up and it'll send you around. And it's 0 to 100 very fast in terms of danger levels.
Indeed it is. As we watch here, these are your leaders. That's Gernot Friesche making things a little bit interesting for Paulie Partson, and able to close in on him, pulling that gap down to under half a second. And you can see behind as well, Juanmi Costa back on the charge, trying to take third place away from Jukka Tolinen. Costa really throwing that car out there. It looked like he was just absolutely on the edge. Oh, big kerfluffle in the back.
That is going to be the car of Daniel Banker, car number 21. What happened to him?
Not entirely sure.
Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it now. That is another Monza moment. they were trying to go 3 wide in a place that you really can't. Really can't at all.
Here we go, going 3 wide. Never advised here at Monza. Looking relatively okay there.
Yeah, that's 1 damage floor. Yeah, it's not going to be you can just see everybody having to avoid him. He's trying to come back on the track. I think he's also got front suspension damage, so his front left suspension is actually not correct at all. Looking back, if we could just get, yeah, that's painful.
And that just looked like a bit of a checkup there in front, and that wasn't expected there from that trailing car, and that sent him spinning around. But we jump back up here. This is the battle for the lead. Gernot Friesche able to pull that gap down under 0.3 of a second to Paulie Partanen. And behind them, Jukka Tolvanen and Juan Costa able to keep up nice and close behind. And one of our former favorites here in the field, Tomas Shimon, able to pull his way up into this battle as well. So we've really got a 5-car battle for P1. They're all separated by less than a second and a half.
And it's going to be quite difficult for them to move the chess pieces because they are so close at this moment in time. It'll take a mistake out of one of them to sort of start the chess pieces and a domino piece to fall into place for the lucky person. I think it is going to come down to luck at this stage if it doesn't separate out, because there's just no separating these guys. They're still stuck. They're stuck together like sardines in retrospect. I mean, look how little of a gap there is between the 5 of them.
Yeah, we'll pull that gap down to about 1.2 seconds at this point. Severi Seppa also starting to close in. Ooh, but we've got a move for the lead here. That's Gernot Friesche taking his move. You can see behind. That's also Tomas Shimon trying to make the move on Juan Costa. Oh, Paulie Partanen not giving an inch and not taking anything from Gernot Friesche. Is that going to send Friesche back into the clutches of Jukka Tolvanen? They're going to go. Here comes Tolvanen trying to look through the inside of the chicane. Is that move going to pay out? No, he is going to fall back into line, but that's going to put him very, very close to Juan Costa.
It would have been too dangerous for Juan Costa to try and make a move, or Jukka Tolvanen to make a move. Jukka Tolvanen tried to look on the inside, but then backed out of it very quickly when she realized how close he was to the braking points. And then we should see it sort of stabilize, re-energize, and that's all Thomas Simon needs to see happen. He just needs to see them continue to fight, and he will reap the rewards once they get around to starting to... Oh, look at that slide from Juan Costa.
I think Juan Costa is running that down, of course, as low as you possibly can, even clipping a little bit of the grass there on the outside of the chicane. Going through a scar, a little bit of weaving in front from Paulie Partanen, going this way and that. Everybody diving down into Parabolica. It's now a matter of who's going to get the best run here out of the corner. Ooh, that was a little bit of a swip from Juan Costa. I think that's all that Tomas Shimon is going to need to make the assault. And indeed, there he goes, starts to poke his nose to the inside. But it looks like he's not able to get a massive slipstream. Oh, but he is able to get the slipstream from the drivers in front. Is that going to be enough to counteract anything? That's a battle for the lead as well. Friesche trying around the outside now. He's going to try to hold it out, but again, Paulie Partanen able to hold it out. Oh my goodness.
And in the back, you can just see that is Juan Costa looking out of place, trying to get on the inside of Jukka Tolvanen as they come around side by side and just shoved out to the grass. Thomas Simon has struck. He struck again, the second time in 2 corners. On the inside, going around the Lesbo 1 into Lesbo 2. Jukka Tolvanen and Thomas Simon going at it.
And it looks like there that Jukka Tolvanen able to put up the defense that he needed, but that's going to allow for Juan Costa maybe to have another little look down to the inside here as they go down under the old banking, thinking about it into Variante Ascari, and it's not going to happen there. Juan Costa just having to hold off and wait here as he potentially watches his championship slip away from him, ruining that disastrous round last time out in Sebring, which he just had a terrible, terrible run of it. Up front, Friesche maybe again looking to mount an attack. Oh, I don't know which way to look. I've got to have chameleon eyes on this, Robert.
Yeah, Thomas Simon's the one I'm looking at. He has struck once, he'll strike again, and he does not need the 2 cars of the car number 4, Paulie Partanen and Gernot Friesche getting away from him. And if that happens, Thomas has no reconciliation as Gernot Friesche is looking to see if he can make the move on the inside or on the outside. Either which way, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah, it looks like that Paulie Parsonen just has a little bit more top-end speed than Gernot does, and that's able to allow him to pull himself ahead and keep everything at bay. For once, this top 5 decides to keep it nice and calm and cool and collected here, so we don't have to be screaming as they go into Della Rosia.
Oh, you'll be screaming coming through Della Rosa constantly. It's never going to be a calm moment for these guys, because once the gloves are off, they will start fighting in a big way. And I really am starting to see Gunnar Frisch looking on the inside, looking on the outside. He's looking every which way at the moment. He's not stopping that steering wheel. He's not holding it center. He's sort of going, oh, look at this way, look at this way, look at this way. He's constantly thinking of the next move he's going to make.
Yeah, he certainly is, but Paulie Parsonen always seeming to be able to hold him at bay. We're now going to break out into couplets here as they have been able to drop Juanmi Costa a little bit. Costa about a second back from Tomas Shimon. There you can see that sawing at the steering wheel like you talked about as we ride on board with Gernot Frisch right now. Frisch getting the advantage of that draft. Parsonen going defensive. He wants to hold that inside line that's been working for him. Frisch now going to have to go around the outside. He's got a nose ahead. Is that going to be enough? Oh, they bang! They bang wheels as they come into the Curva Grande. That's not going to be enough, though, to allow Gernot Frisch to get by. He's offline a little bit. Juanmi Costa way off in the back there. Ooh, thinking about moving to the inside. It was Gernot Frisch, but they're going to stay in line.
Yeah, Gernot Frisch, he saw the red mist descending, and Parsonen sort of having to hold his own. He's got a lower downforce setup, I do think, because as soon as they turned right, Gernot Frisch bled at so much more speed comparative. He bled about 10 kilometers an hour more turning right over Parsonen did, and Jukka Tolvanen sort of having to make sure that he didn't run into the back of one of them, and Thomas Simon attempting to make more moves. The wheel banging continues. The red mist will start to descend further and further, and these guys will start banging much more than doors. They'll start banging wheels, they'll start banging wings, they'll start trying getting at each other as best they can, and it'll be gloves off, fully off by that point.
It will indeed, and we hope it does not come to that. Just taking a quick look on board myself of Gernot Frisch. It looks like he was able to escape any major damage to the under tray of that car, which is always a concern when you have any sort of incident like that. He's pulling in behind here, trying to see what he's got. Paulie Parsonen again going defensive behind him, though. That's Tomas Shimon thinking about a move on Jukka Tolvanen, but thinks better of it. They go into a single file line now through the Curva Grande. Oh, Shimon almost overshot the corner.
Simone just having to catch his breath for a little bit. He needs to not do that. Oh, took me up very close behind Jukka Tolvanen. He needs to keep it tidy. Very, very tidy, in fact, because it was quite. What's the word I'm looking for? Quite tricky in terms of how little gap there is between the 5 cars now. Because if he continues at this rate, it could potentially cost him a wheel or two, and that's race ending right there.
It is indeed, and yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there with that. We continue to watch this battle. We apologize for not covering much of the other field here, but this is some of the best action out on track as these drivers really just vying not only for the championship, but vying for the race win here as Parsonen and Frisch both, Tolvanen both in that title conversation, although as of right now, if things finish the way that they do, it would be Paulie Parsonen taking it. Frisch taking another look to the outside here, going through Curva Grande. It's a later move. Is that going to pay dividends? He's got to try to carry some more speed. They're going to be side by side. This may be a little bit of help for Gernot Frisch. He's able to hold it out for the first time. He'll have the preferred line going down into Della Rosia. Can he outbrake him? No! He's going to have to back off once again, but that's going to allow for Jukka Tolvanen to get a little bit feisty. That then allows for Tomas Shimon to get feisty down to the inside of the first Lesmo. Shimon holds it to the outside, able to get it, stays off the gravel. That's Shimon up, and look at that, Juan Costa's back in the mix.
Juan Costa has now gotten the prayer that he so desperately needed. The answer to his prayers. He's now back with the top 5, and Simon very cheekily just got up into 3rd position there under everyone else's nose. Patton having to defend like the absolute champ that he is, but he'll have even more complexion soon once Prix gets overtaken by Simon. I do think that will happen before the end of the race. Oh, and Prix trying to prevent that from happening as he goes in the inside. It's going to be helter-skelter between the 3 of them now.
Maybe even the 4 with Jukka Tolvanen able to pull into it, but that is the best move in. Yes, Frisch's got it. Frisch's going to lead across the line, but how long is that going to stick? As we suspect Paulie Parton running a lower downforce setup pokes his nose to his preferred line. That is the inside. They're going to bring Tomas Shimon. Shimon's going to see if he can make this a 2-for-1 special going to the inside of Gernot Frisch. Frisch, for his measure, is going to have to hold this around the outside once again, and that's going to be Tolvanen up through. Tolvanen looking for the move going down through the Curva Grande. 1, 2, 3. Is that going to be 3 corners down for Gernot Frisch? He's going to be able to hold it out to only loses 2 positions there, but that was disastrous for the driver of the number 1.
And after a helter-skelter of corners, well, from one end of the track to the other, from Parabolica to the first chicane, really, was a lot of action. But again, Simon, look at him. Look at that blue car. He's snuck up again, and he's done it again. He got past Prix on an opportune moment, is now up into 2nd, and is now putting Patton under some real pressure this time by.
He is indeed, and I'll have to go back and double check the standings, but I believe this is the first time we've seen Tomas this season. He was a mainstay for several seasons, and then I just had some personal things come up, wasn't able to race. Ooh, we're side by side in the back there. That's Frisch trying to hold off Jukka Tolvanen. Tolvanen trying to hold it around the outside of Parabolica, doing a little bit of move like we saw Gernot Frisch do, as we only have 9 laps to go as the leaders cross the start-finish line. Tolvanen now not able to get the move done through Parabolica. He's going to tuck up behind in the draft and see if he can get something done on Gernot Frisch. As the same is true for Tomas Shimon, they're going to be ants marching 2 by 2, going down into that first corner, into the Curva Grande. Shimon trying to hold the line around the outside, hold the momentum. He's not able to do it. He's going to tuck back into line and then try the aggressive move again, going out of the Curva Grande. He's going to have to be later on the brakes, tries to hold it out, not able to do it. He's going to slide back into line, but Tolvanen gets it done, demoting Gernot Frisch into 4th.
Yeah, tucked in very well, but Simon just not able to push Patton all the way around, because Patton not only wasn't he on the inside for the sweeping right-hander, he then switched sides for the chicane and just on a class act just managed to get by on a whim coming through, and now really is putting Simon up to the task of trying to get past him the long way around.
Indeed it is, but Tomas Shimon not being deterred, gets a good run out of the very Gsrc. Is he going to try and move down to the inside here? I think he was just thinking about it, maybe trying to play a little bit of mental games there, going down into Parabolica. He's now got to focus on his run the best that he can. Able to get that car behind, pull it down. He's going to tuck in. There, that draft coming into play. Is this the move for Tomas Shimon? He's going to poke his nose to the outside, or what will be the outside of the Curva Grande. It's a 2-car race as they've been able to gap back to Jukka Tolvanen to the tune of about 1.3 seconds, side by side, going into the long right-hander. It looks like I think Shimon's going to have to back off, but he's going to tuck his nose back up behind, try to take that draft. He's going to have to go the long way around. A little bit of a squeeze there from Paulie Parton. Not able to get it done there is Tomas Shimon. Behind them, Gernot Frisch later on the brakes, able to get it done, but almost lose it.
That was Gernot Frisch getting demoted all the way now back to 5th. As Juan Costa and Jukka Tolvanen reap the rewards of the mistake that happened between the 2 of them, but they're still going at it between the 2 of them, going side by side, coming through. Lesmo 2 coming down towards the charge, and oh no, that is going to be Juan Costa making the mistake, and now Servi Seppa up into 5th.
Remember when we thought he was out of this battle? Well, that is not the case. Seppa maybe thinking about a move going down into a Scari. not able to get it done. Whoa, hell, but a big wiggle out of Prix. That's going to check up Seppa. That in turn is going to check up Costa, and Timo Vascalampi has joined into this picture as well.
Well, I think you should look at the front, because right now the cameras are pointing at Thomas Simon, who just took the lead away from Parkman. What has happened has now happened in a big bucket and spade. Paulie Batman now will only have a reply through Slipstream, as Thomas Simon has done one of the most incredible moves. He kept it wanged around the outside, wanged it around the outside of the first part of Ascari, tucked in on the inside, and then just took the racing line. He just commanded such oomph. He just took the racing line. Oh, coming back at it, though, is Patton.
Indeed, he is. Paulie Parton says, that is my position. I want it back. Sir tries to fight him down into Della Roggia. Oh, that's a little bit of shades of Verstappen and Hamilton in Imola, just across the way here in Italy. And that is Paulie Parton back into the lead.
Coming through now. Thomas Simon needs to calm down. He needs to take the inside line. He let Patton take the outside line, which I thought was a very big mistake. He's allowing Patton to hold the command of power. Really, you know, he needs to command the racetrack as well as he does when he does these overtakes.
Let's go check out a replay again while we've got a quick breathing minute of that overtake that we saw. This is coming down out of Lesmo 2. You can see just down the hill. Yeah, just a very, very heads-up move there from Tomas Shimon. Oi, 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 that is how you get a move done. And this is that fight back that we talked about between Shimon and Paulie Parton. And watch specifically on the exit here, you can see just, almost a little bit of argy-bargy. I think Tomas Shimon just wanted to hold that out as long as he could. But we end up the same way that we went into those corners. Paulie Parton continuing to lead. The gap is about 1/10 of a second. Shimon trying to poke his nose this way and that, as nothing doing there quite yet for any of these drivers.
Going to be quite difficult now for reconciliation at this point. I would say the gloves are off. I have said the gloves are off about 6 or 7 times. Well, the gloves are now off. I think the gloves are now completely and utterly off.
I think the gloves have been thrown to the floor completely is the way to do it, probably. But we watch here everybody coming down into the corner, into Ascari. They go down, and there you see this is Tomas Shimon just trying to figure it out. That is Cristiano Carani up ahead of them. That's some lap traffic. That could present a bit of a problem.
It's going to present a huge problem, because it's going to present a huge problem for the guy who's ahead. That's Patton. Patton, well, forget I said anything about that. But that car did exactly what it could do, and just got out of the way as best it could. But Simon's going to now have to pass around the outside again, because Patton, he just commands the field. He'll make the defensive move, go on the inside here. Look.
Indeed he will, as Timo Vascalampi sets the fastest lap of the race. Whoa! 3 wide as Frisha and Tolan go at it. That is going to be Juanmi Costa trying to poke his nose up into the inside as well. Boys, don't go 3 wide. Don't you dare go 3 wide down into Della Roggia. That's a little bit of an attack for the lead.
No!
All over the curbs. That is for sure going to be undertray damage for Tomas Shimon.
Tomas Shimon got pinched by Parton coming into the second part of the chicane. And that was a door that was going to close. Patton didn't want to leave it open. He didn't want to go around the outside, because that would have been his position lost. And Simon didn't want to go on, didn't refuse to sort of hold on the inside, hold second patter. And it's just like, there you go, really. You know, off you go.
Oh, we've got a driver spinning around there. We've got 2 drivers spinning around. That looks like the number 12 of Karthik Pai. I believe maybe Armando Edwards caught up in that as well.
Now, I do want to see how Simon, he's done this now, what, for 5 times? 4 of those 5 times he's been forced off the track. And it's not going to play as he wants it. He wants to have that side-by-side action, and he hopes that Pattinen will give him the line. But look, he's too far back. The slipstream's no longer being as effective as it was before. He's having to hold it around the outside. If he continues to hold it around the outside, he's not going to have anything going for him. It's going to be, Juan Costa in the background.
Juan Costa around the outside of De La Rossi, and he spins! Juan Costa spins on the exit of the chicane!
A second time at the same place, Juan Costa makes the mistake that he need not. And, that is going to be soul crushing, because if he... it's not even a spin. He got tapped from behind. I think that was not Prix. It was...
It was Tolanen. It was
Tolanen
just got into the back of him there and spun around Juan Costa. Heartbreak for our former championship leader. You hate to see a race that had been so close end like that, as we've got a battle for the lead.
Into the lead goes Thomas Simon, having gotten a bit tired of playing second fiddle to the lead, and now there's going to be side by side all the way down through the start-finish straight. Neither person is going to want to let go of the throttle, and that is going to be Pattinen with just a kilometre advantage at this point in time coming through, and you'll have the inside line as well. Pattinen just has the positioning. Thomas Simon is not commanding the positioning he needs to, and now he's going to try and do the exact same thing he does every single time, around the outside into here we go.
Well, with only 3 laps to go, there's a part of me that maybe wonders a little bit if he's playing a bit of a mental game here. Maybe set himself up for the final lap, continue to go on that outside attack, and then only to change it up on the last lap. Could that be something he could be thinking about, Rob?
Honestly, I'm perplexed. That's the word I'm looking for. Perplexed. Why is Thomas Simon he's making life difficult for himself? He just needs already inside.
That's going to be... I think they touched. I think they banged wheels, and that's going to be Shimon off into the gravel on the outside of Ascari. That means that is out of it, and that means that he has fallen back. That's Timo Vascalampi able to get around him, but that is not day done for your leader, Pauli Parton, and Gernot Friesche able to catch up behind in all of that melee, and now he's going to have a run at the number 4.
Yeah, just one tap did it. And now Friesche, it's sort of the revenge of the car number 1, and in the car number 1 in this case being Gernot Friesche, as he tries to upset in the order of things. Remember, as we said before, he's not in the battle for the championship, but I still argue he is. He just is in a different battle. Who can he annoy the most?
I think that's pretty much it. They go single file there. That's side by side in the back between Scalampi and Shimon. And Shimon off again. Day going from bad to worse from Tomas Shimon.
Yeah, that's him. I think it's the race pretty much over. He'll have to consolidate as best he can. I think he's raced himself a bit too hard today. I think he just needs to take a moment, take a breather, come back at it again.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit right in that assessment. We watch here. This is the battle for the lead. Pauli Partonen only needs to hold this out for one more lap. Only one more. We're going to keep our eyes focused here. We're not going to miss a moment of it here on Gsrc. Can Pauli Partonen take the win here today and take his first championship?
Well, there is one more lap to go. And I'm guessing now, if you don't want to see the results, look away now, because it's already started.
It has indeed. Partonen able to try to hold on to that inside line as he holds it. Almost contact between himself and Friesche. Friesche trying to give a little bit of a pinch. They go down into the Curva Grande. That looked like a little bit of a back off there from Gernot Friesche. I don't know if he's going to have any sort of run at this. Let's watch it into De La Rossi, and no, he is too far back at this moment. I do hear tell that there's a pretty fierce battle going on for P9. This is Dubois and Javier Sanchez as they go at it. There you can see it. Oh, that was an off in the back for, that's Tolanen.
Tolanen losing positions to Thomas Simon, who's able to reconciliate himself to a 5th position. Severi Seppa now up into 4th. Now still looking back towards the battle between Prix and Pattinen is holding off ever so well.
Yes, he is. Partonen continues to check it out, continues to hold on to this the best that he can. He's only got one more corner to go until he can taste the champagne and raise the trophy. Here comes Paulie Partonen. Is he able to hold this out? Is he able to keep it going? Gernot Fritzsche dives the car down to the inside of Parabolica, trying to see if he can maximize the run on the outside. He's going to try for it, but it may be too little too late. There comes Barney the Flagman with the checkered flag, and it is out! That is it! Paulie Partonen takes the victory here at Monza and claims the championship. Big kerfluffle there in the back. That was, I believe, Vascalampi, but he is able to cross over in 3rd. This is the battle for P6, or P9 right now, rather. This is Javier Sanchez trying to hold off Christophe Dubois. I think Sanchez has got it, and indeed he does. Sanchez able to hold it out. Dubois comes home in 10th.
Then cross the line, Timo Karjalainen, Timothy Reed, and then Karthik Pai, Armando Edwards coming home. It's all sort of coming back home together, but that was a crazy race from the front. The constant battles throughout the entire day, and I'd say all of them are going to be a bit flustered by how much action there was.
I have to agree with that fully. Everything a little bit crazy out there on track, as it were. We are going to go to a quick break so your commentators can suck on some oxygen and be able to sit here and be ready to talk to our winning drivers when we come back, as well as go through some the unofficial championship order.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Monza, ladies and gentlemen. That was an absolutely amazing race out on track that saw Paulie Partonen take not only the victory here, but a victory on the season in the championship, I believe, if we are able to do that math correctly. Gernot Fritzsche came home in P2, Timo Vascalampi behind them in 3rd. Severi Seppa will come home in 4th, with Tomas Shimon in 5th. Jukka Tolanen was 6th, with Juan Costa 7th, Dylan Freckles in 8th, Javier Sanchez in 9th, and Christophe Dubois in 10th.
And then down from there, Timo Karjalainen in 11th and 12th, Timothy Reed, Karthik Pai in 13th, Armando Edwards in 14th, Jordan Suarez in 15th, Javier Mascara 16th, Cristiano Coriani had an accident down at 17th. Then come down to, unfortunately, a lot of people out there having issues. Pablo Suarez was the latest person to retire, or well, the latest person to retire on the racetrack. And then we saw what happened to Overi Changrade, an accident, and the exit of Ascari. Daniel Banker also retired, with Michael Duturk also retiring. Peter Konietzki also retiring at number 18, only making it, I think that was 5 or 6 laps. Barry West in 23rd, also retiring. Keith Erner 24th, and then finally Joe Harleton also having a lap 1 accident down in 25th.
Indeed, but we have our winner here today joining us in the booth, Paulie Partonen. Paulie, first off, congratulations on the win. And if I'm doing my math correctly, congratulations on the championship.
Well, sadly, I think you didn't do the math correctly. I think Kela won. I'm quite sure about it.
It has got to be a good feeling across the board, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, this race was very, very good. It was so intense. I'm literally shaking right now because this was so good race. Like, they tried to overtake me almost every lap, so that was so intense. God damn it.
I mean, intensity, it looked like you were just holding off pressure from everybody around you. How do you kind of weather that storm when it's just constant like that?
I have no idea, really. I was just trying to take the best line of every corner when somebody was beside me, so that's all I was thinking all the time.
Well, I'd say you did it pretty darn well. Anybody you'd like to thank for the victory here today in the number 4 machine?
I want to thank Jukka. He gave me setup, and I've been practicing with Jukka whole week, and I would not be here without Jukka, so very, very big thank you, Jukka.
Well, there you go. That was your victor here today, Paulie Partanen. And now, Rob, I believe you've caught up with our second place finisher, Gernot Friesche.
I have indeed. Gernot Friesche, congratulations and welcome to the booth. And unfortunately, second place doesn't communicate how well you did out there today. Take us through it.
I wouldn't say unfortunately, because it's actually a great finish. Yeah, it was quite a turbulent race, so a lot of crazy stuff happening, and I think it was down to 4th or even 5th, I'm not sure. So yeah, positions were changing all the time, and I knew that Thomas would be strong coming from behind, and so was Teemu, so it was a really tough race.
Yeah, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say it was unfortunate, but it was more just you did it very well out there to only get a second place. You were definitely fighting for first quite a lot of the time. How difficult was it you were shuffling down, then shuffled back up? Was it just focusing on the overall results, or was it getting worrying at that time, sort of when you dropped down to 4th or 5th?
I didn't really believe I had a good chance to come back because Thomas was ahead of me at that point. But yeah, I was lucky because Paulie and Thomas had a really tough battle, and so had the others. Yeah, on the other hand, I didn't expect to start from pole position because I knew there were so many really quick guys in this race. And yeah, in the end, the second place almost feels like a win, so I can't be happy with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, great way to end the season in second place. And just before we let you go, will you be back for next season?
Yeah, I'll be back. I've been missing quite some races this season, so next season hopefully should be a little bit better participation-wise. What's also good is that my pace seemed to be quite okay during the last 2 rounds. So yeah, looking forward to next season. So yeah, let me give me a moment and just say a huge congrats to whoever won the championship. If it's Marco, it's fine. Congrats to him, or if it's Paul, it's also great. All those guys, yeah, did a really good job in the last couple of seasons. So they all deserve it.
Absolutely, that's what I was going to ask you. So how? Sort of, do you have any thanks of yourself you'd like to give? Anybody you'd like to thank for today's, win? Or, well, second place, correction, sorry.
Yes, usually I like to thank the other drivers in this series. It's an exciting place to race. And yeah, also thanks to you guys doing great broadcasts. It really adds to the fun. So yeah, see you all guys next season. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Friesche. And that was Friesche of number 1 car fame. And back to you, Clark.
Well, we have also been able to catch up with Teemu Vaskalampi, your third place finisher out there. Teemu, able to take advantage of a little bit of carnage out in front of you and get yourself a podium. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I'm glad I didn't qualify. Thomas asked me to do no qualify race like him, so I was on the track during qualify, but I was careful to take off tracks on my laps. But it was a very interesting race. But I was beating myself up a bit because I was way too careful overtaking first couple laps. Thomas was so brave with his move. He just disappeared and was far ahead. But then things happened and I was able to catch them anyway.
Yeah, able to move your way forward, and obviously, you know, not qualifying there, it set yourself up for a heavy overtaking race. Does that change the way you really attack the actual driving out on circuit? Do you notice yourself being a little bit more aggressive starting from the back, or is it basically the same mentality you carry in? Would you be starting up in the top 5?
No, well, I was supposed to be much more aggressive, but I got a bit too scared. I didn't dare to do the moves I had to. I just basically overtook on straights mostly, and I lost like 5 seconds to Thomas doing it that way. But overall, it's much easier. No pressure starting from back, not expecting to survive, and so on. So it was much more relaxed driving.
Well, all right. I don't think I've ever heard the term relaxed referring to Monza, but I love it. Obviously, the end of the season this time out. Can we expect to see you next season, and any particular goals you have going into what will be 2022 season 1?
Yeah, I will be there next season, but I don't set any goals. I will see how it goes.
Well, I like that mentality, Teemu. Anybody you want to thank for this 3rd place run here today?
Well, the whole community. It's great, nice little community, and of course you guys for broadcasting.
Well, we are always happy to do it. That was Teemu Vaskalampi, your 3rd place finisher here today. And that's about going to wrap things up for us here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Thank you so much to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts. They are listed here on your screen. An additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp to hear more of her awesome work. Thanks again to the team today, Robert, Zach, and Dougie. You can find out more about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media listed on the screen there. Also, check out our merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. We keep a link in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Our next race for the Lotus 79 series, well, we're not entirely sure where we're going to be, but we can tell you it will be on Sunday, December 19th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Then we also have other upcoming races listed on your screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar. Next race here on the channel, well, that's going to be the Absolute Beginners League taking on Brands Hatch at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.